Well, for a while there, it looked like we were going to do our level best to try and throw away this huge lead we had in 3 Liga. But the boys rallied, and with a really good game against a couple of different opponents, we ended up clinching the league about 3 games ago. That said, we've still got 2 games left to play, one against Victoria Köln, one against Verl. It's an opportunity for some of the youngsters to get some time in. Plus, we're going to take a look at where we stand in terms of budget and plans for our first season back in the second Bundesliga. My name's FM Jellicoe, and this is the Red Devilsd Rising. So I'm not quite sure why here it doesn't have the results. I don't know if it's a skin issue or a bug. I'm tempted to say it's more of a skin issue than anything else, but if you do click the league results here, as you can see, we are the 3 Liga champions. Dresden and Ergen have both placed. This here is particularly surprising. This here, rather, is particularly surprising because we absolutely thumped them a game ago. It was not even funny. After beating Lübeck and losing to Saarbrücken, we lost to Duisburg 2-1. This was a game where we just did not put our best foot forward. Yeah, we had 15 shots. Yeah, we had 8 on target. But, you know, Ritter was on a 6-4, Sifty is 6-5. Shad was on a 6-4. He has absolutely fallen off a cliff at the end of this season. I don't know how many times I've gotten messages about Shad's being abused by the other team. And we're scoring early, but the problem is we're losing it late. The thing is, Unterhaching, we drew 1-1. This was a game, I think, if I remember correctly, I played this last night. Yeah, they scored first, we came back, and then we just could not get anything done in the second half. Against 1860 Munich, we had a really good game against them. We beat them 2-0. Puri scored, Ritter scored in the 84th minute. We had 18 shots, 8 on target to their 9-2. I think once we scored, they just decided to sit back and not really do anything. And as a result, you can see, you know, their forward was on a 6-3, one of their wingers was on a 6-6. On the other hand, almost everybody on our squad was 7.0 or better, with the exception of Klusik, who was a 6-8 because of some defensive lapses. And then against Erdogan, who finished third. They're in the playoffs. We absolutely thumped them 9-2. Spalvis had 5 goals. They got off to a fast start. Osawe, who is in the running for 3 Liga Player of the Year, along with Spalvis and a couple others, had 2 goals in the first 19 minutes. Spalvis scored. Puri had a brace. We take it back. Did Puri have a hat trick? Puri did have a hat trick. They had a player sent off in the 45th minute, right before the end of the half, which did not help them in the least. So Spalvis had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. Puri had 1, 2, 3 goals. And then who was the odd person out? Because we scored 9. Spalvis. Sounds like a really bad song. Spalvis, Puri. Puri had 4. Okay. So they were both trying to do their best to outdo the other. So we'll take a look at the team at the end of the season here, but as it stands at the moment, Lucas Spalvis leads us with 36 goals, Ritter a 7.3 rating, and 16 assists. Spalvis, 8 players of the match awards, Sickinger, 12 yellow cards. But as you can see, we had 60 yellow cards against 84 points, so we beat the Jellicoe ratio, and I'm quite happy with that. In our 36 game played, our 95 goals scored were best in 3 Liga. Our 37 goals allowed were second best. That's definitely a glitch of some sort there. And our attendance slowly crept up near the end of the season, but it's still only second best in the league. We are no way filling out Fritz Walter Stadium. So today we are playing Victoria Köln, and then we're playing Verl. Victoria Köln is just outside the relegation zone. They're safe unless Mannheim comes back and wins both of their games and Köln loses, and then it goes to tiebreakers of some sort. Verl is 19th in the league. They're going down. So both these games are an opportunity for some of the youngsters to get some playing time in. So what I'm going to do is set the 11 I want to play, check the reserves. I want to come back with our match against Victoria Köln in just a bit. So today we've got Wayand in goal. Held, Gottwald, Gall, and Hlusek are the defensive back fours. Sifsey and Kraus are the midfielder and defensive midfielder, respectively. Ritter and Redondo are the attack midfielders. Roser and Spalvis are up top as the strikers. Puri is out with an injury. It should be okay. But he's, it's an orange injury, so he's not going to be back anytime soon. I think if I wanted to play him next week, I could, but we'll see. Holthaus to Thiel, to Lurens, to Klingenberg, centers it to Wunderlich, who's almost dispossessed, but he gets it back to Klingenberg. Oh, Redondo steps in front of the pass, drives forward, no one in front of him, one-on-one with the keeper, and he dinks it over him for the goal. Oh, I bet the keeper went to ground. Let's see this in the 3D. Keeper did go to ground. Redondo just dinked it over him. I love that they put this in the game this year. It's the little things like that you wouldn't think make a big difference, but they really do. And they get one back. Klingenberg scores almost a couple minutes later off the corner kick. That's okay. Bit of confusion going on in front of the net there. Shout a little bit of encouragement out to the boys. Ritter sends it in. Gall is there, but he heads it high and right. Lurens from just outside the box, and he gets it past Wayand for the goal. Lurens. I'm reasonably sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Oh, Wayand went right. Why did he go right? Ritter sends it into the box. Gottwald can't get a head on it. He is going to run down the carom, though. To Kraus. Up towards Spalvis. Knocked up in the air. Lurens has it. He gets it to Thiel. Drops it off to Klingenberg. Tries getting it to Seaton, but the ball goes long. Hlusek runs it down. He drives forward. Taps up to Redondo. Back to Hlusek. He cuts inside. Oh, gives it away. Klingenberg ends up sending it back to Milietz, who just bombs it forward to no one in a Köln uniform. Ritter ends up with the ball to Roser. Back to Sifsey. Out to Held. Alone on the right. Crosses it in. Roser's there. Off of Milietz. And in for the score. We are all square at 31 minutes. Lorch, to Reese. Back to Wunderlich. Wunderlich. To Thiel. To Wunderlich. Klingenberg lost it towards Seaton. Oh, he lost the ball. He tried doing something tricky with it and instead got dispossessed. Bounces back and forth. Holthaus hasn't. The highlight ends. Hlusek on the throw into Redondo. Loses the ball. Bounces back and forth. Lorch has it. Finally bombs it forward towards Seaton. However, he gives it up. Gottwald instead bombs it forward. Bounces back and now just playing a bunch of Route 1. Good grief. Lurens drives forward. Almost dispossessed. Seaton, and he scores. Was a good cross in. See, who was that? Who's the number 11? Redondo. He probably could have made a little bit more effort to go after that cross. It looked like he had a chance to intercept it, but he chose not to. Reese on the throw-in. Knocked away. Kraus can't get there before Lorch does. To Wunderlich. Back out to Reese. His cross bounces off a player. Lorch has it. Back to Reese. Crosses in again. Lurens is there, and they are 4-2 up at the half. That is the half, and we are down 4-2. I think this is going to be a bit of a thrashing arms moment. Wayand taps up to Gottwald. Long pass towards Spalvis, but too long. Lorch runs it down for Köln. Rossmann ends up with it, but he gives it away to Held. Up to Ritter. To Sifsey. To Rosser. Spalvis, top of the box, takes the shot, but he pushes it wide left. Gottwald. To Rosser. And the ball goes past him. Milietz ends up bombing it forward, gets knocked down. Ritter. Back out to Held, who crosses in. Spalvis is there, and he scores his 36th of the season. It's a good outlet pass by Ritter. Held was all alone, had plenty of time. Nice header by Spalvis. About 60 minutes into the game, after this, we'll make a couple of substitutions. Redondo did absolutely nothing to fight for that ball. Gall is going to run it down. Rossmann steps in front of Spalvis, but the ball goes to Sifsey. Out to Redondo. Cuts inside. Holds it up, crosses it in. Spalvis is there, and he scores. Holy cow, this guy's been on fire all season. Nice cross by Redondo. Pause the game here real quick. We're going to bring Reeder on for Gall. We're going to bring Bachmann on for Kraus, who's not having the best game. And we're going to save our last sub. Reeder on the throw to Sifsey. To Ritter. Oh, wow, what a shot. He blasts that in from 25 yards easy. No one around him, saw the open channel, took the shot. Just left all alone. Why wouldn't you take a shot in that case? And we have come back to take a 5-4 lead. Praise the boys here. Reeder on the throw-in to Ritter, to Held, feeds Rosser, who scores, hits the post and goes in. His 14th of the season. He's our third striker, too. Although chances are next year he's going to be our second. Coming up on the end of the game here, and that is it. A 6-4 come-from-behind victory. Okay, that's a little odd. Oh, I totally forgot to set my training up. Let me see if I can do that here real quick. Köln avoid relegation. As results, elsewhere ensured their survival. Okay, good on them. So we have Verl coming up in a week. We're going to get to that game, and then we'll talk about end of the season and what we're going to do next. So, back in a bit. Well, it is a bit of a rotated side today. It's the last game of the season. We're playing Verl, who've already been relegated, and so we're starting a lot of the under-23 players because why not? We've got Wayne in goal. Shad, Gottwald, Winkler, and Schultz are the defensive back four. Kraus is the defensive midfielder. Bakat is the midfielder. Kleinsorg and Ritter are the attacking midfielders. Spalvis and Saidu Bangura are up top as the strikers. And Bangura is someone I found through just the scouting reports. You know what? We can take a look at him here in a second. Winkler on the throw-in to Kraus, goes all the way through. Spalvis to Kleinsorg, bounces it off, gets it back, goes right to Bruseke. Hecker for Verl. Holds it up, crosses it in. Shores is there, but it's knocked away. Ritzka's going to run it down. To Borkowski. He crosses it in. Yadim is there, and wow, Wayne totally misplayed that. I swear, these blinking... There's got to be a way to turn that off. So, you know what? We're going to take a look at Bangura here real quick. He's 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Physically, he's pretty good. Mentally, he's okay in the area where it counts. You know, limited anticipation, 12 composure, 10 decision making, 10 off the ball, 10 work rate. The vision was a bit on the low side, but that's actually come up. Technically, he's not bad. 12 dribbling, 14 finishing, 14 first touch, 12 heading, 12 technique. So, I don't, you know, he'll never be Bundesliga material, but he could be a solid backup at the 2 Bundesliga level, I believe. Choroba on the throne for Hecker. Back to Choroba. To Sander. To Borkowski. He gets it to Taz. Back to Borkowski. Feeds Taz again. Taz rounds the defender. Takes the shot. Wow, that was. Holy sh. Wow. Sometimes you just gotta step back and raise your hands and say, hey, that was a good goal. Wayne probably should have done better, but still. Kickoff highlight. Gottwalt gives the ball away. Sander to Taz. Over to Hecker. Back to Sander. Borkowski to Taz. Dispossessed. Ball goes to Kleinsorts. Gives to Bangura. Taps up to Spalvis, who's essentially one-on-one. Takes the shot, but he pushes it too wide left. There were a lot of bodies closing down on him. He probably heard the footsteps. Spalvis off the throw and gets it back to Shad. Over to Gottwalt. All the way back to Wayand. To Kraus. Over to Winkler. Up to Spalvis. Back to Kraus. Back to Winkler. Lost it towards Bangura. And Brusecki, a very nice save. McKick just kicks it out of bounds. Ritter from just outside the box. Spalvis is there with the header. His 38th of the season. Wow. If you told me before the season started there'd be a player on our squad with 30-plus goals, I would have thought you were nuts, to be honest with you. I didn't think that would be possible, but Lucas Spalvis has definitely proved me wrong. Shores with the corner kick. Wayne knocks it away, and it's headed just wide left. Wayne with the goal kick towards Spalvis. Nice first touch. Rounds the defender, feeds Bangura. Bangura takes the shot, but it's right at the Verl keeper. Ritter, corner kick. Knocked away. Winkler's going to run that down. Centers it to Kraus. Back to Winkler, and he gives the ball away to Yildirim. Over to Barkowski, out to Hecker, and the highlight ends. And that is halftime. We are down 2-1, despite having 10 shots, 6 on target to their 8 and 4. Shad to Kleinsorg. Feeds Spalvis. Long pass towards Bangura. Is he going to get there before Mikic? He is not. Ritska gets it out to Sander. Borkowski to Schroers. Oh, dispossessed. Spalvis ends up with the ball. One-on-one with the keeper. Takes the shot. Nice save. Scholes ends up with the ball after a bit of back and forth, and the highlight ends. Gottwald heads the ball away, but no one else runs after it, so Sander runs it down for Verl. Gives it to Schroers. Borkowski over to Sander. Back to Borkowski. Out to Hecker. Scholes dispossesses him. Lofts it up, but Mikic's right there. Winkler steps in front of that pass. Ritter has it. Over to Bangura. One-on-one with the keeper. And right at Brusecki. Something tells me that's youth at play. Corner kick for Kaiserslautern. Knocked away by Mikic, but Gottwald's going to run it down. And we are going to make a couple of changes here. Get Gottwald off and bring on Gall. Get Kleinsorg off. bring on Redondo and swap him with Ritter. But Kott is not having a good game, so we're going to bring on Kubler. Ritter, back to Shad, crosses it in, knocked away by Chiroba, but Gall is going to run down the ball. He tries crossing it in, bounces it off a Viral player, runs down the carom, sends it all the way back to Wayand. To Winkler. To Redondo, but Chiroba steps in front of that. However, Cross gets the ball. Back to Redondo. Redondo driving forward, drops it off to Scholes, crosses in. Spalvis is there. Bangura gets his goal, but he was offsides. I think they had the offsides called before he even shot. Spalvis with the ball. Ritter back and forth. Gets it again, but right at Brusecki. Shad. Oh, gives the ball away. Burkowski kept in front. Gets the ball back. Wagan was totally doing something. I don't know what he was doing. He was definitely not on a line or anything like that. I mean, look at this. Shad heads it away. Burkowski steps in front. Drives forward. Wayan comes out and just leaves the whole side of the goal open. Bangura's pass is intercepted by Schroers. Back to Burkowski. Ritter steps in front of that. Spalvis ends up with it. He gets it to Bangura. Feeds Redondo, who scores a laser of a shot. Blows it by Brusecki. Brusecki. Nice assist by Bangura, chesting the ball down to his foot and then getting it over to Redondo. 4 minutes plus extra time left. Can we come back? Maybe. Redondo. It's 3-on-2. Well, no, it's 3-on-3. Spalvis drives forward. Takes the shot. Brusecki, a very nice stop. Goes out for the Kaisersalutern throw-in, or corner rather. Ritter. Bangura's there, but he heads it over the crossbar. Looks like the comeback's going to fall just a little short. And it does. Viral wins 3-2, but we're playing a mostly rotated side. But Bangura ended up having a good game. Ritter had a good game. Everyone else, not so much, including Wayand. And that is the season. We finished in first place on 87 points. Dresden at 73 is 14 points behind. Erdogan finishes at 72 points. They are going to be playing Offenbrook? Or no, Onnesbrook. Yeah, 16th place is Onnesbrook. So they're going to be playing Onnesbrook to see whether or not they get promoted. Hanover got promoted. Fortuna Dusseldorf got promoted. One of the things I do like to do at the end of the season is you go to the teams that are getting demoted or might be getting demoted. And you get a scouting report on them. Now, had I been paying attention, I would have done this a week or two ago. That way I would have more information at hand. But sometimes there are players on the squad who have nice release clauses or that you can get for cheap. Do the same thing with the teams in the Bundesliga as well. So Union Berlin, VfB Stuttgart, and Arminia Bielefeld. You can do that from here now. That's kind of cool. So for next year, Oh, it's because I turned the game off last night and turned it on again. Okay, well, it will be here. We do have a transfer budget. It's not huge, 1.47 million euros. Our payroll budget, we got a nice little bump to. It's 135,000. Currently, we're spending 95, so we've got a little bit of wiggle room there. Our scouting budget 68,614 euros, and we really didn't spend a lot this year because I didn't do a lot of scouting this year. One of the things I am going to do this off season is take a look at who I have in terms of coaching and that. Sometimes, there's different approaches to this. Some people, their very first day, even before they've taken a look at the squad and whatnot, will go through and release all the coaches. They'll agree to a mutual termination. I usually don't do that unless I know I can go out and find better coaches. And this time around, I just really don't want to spend the time doing that. Now I've got the time to do that. So we are going to look at, our chief scout. He's an 11-12. That's solid. Our other scout, he's an 8-9. Not so good. And our third scout, he's a 15-14. I just hired him, so he's pretty darn good. There's obviously areas we can improve. The other thing that is very cool is that I do have a B squad that I can bring coaches on, and then the under 19 staff as well. I can go through and not necessarily fix the coaches there, but bring in better coaches. So we will be doing that as well. I might do an episode kind of in the off season about how I do scouting and stuff like that. There's a few different ways to do that, but one of the things I do like to do, and I should have done that here, is like an example with Arda Keskin. He's a 14 ability, 15 potential, and he's Turkey. So essentially what you're going to do is go up here, go to set nickname, and A Keskin, parentheses, 14A, 15 PTUR. And that tells me when I look at him now, or if I go to the recruitment team, now I look at him, he's my scout, he's 14 potential ability, or he's 14 current ability, 15 potential ability, and he's primarily Turkey. And you get a little bit of wiggle room with this. You can go out quite a distance, and plus, eventually, you're going to have to come up with some abbreviations as it is. So one of the other things I like to do, if I do have the room, is put their adaptability up there as well. But for the most part, you get to a point with scouts that above a certain level, their adaptability is really high. One of the things I do look for in scouts is their adaptability. It's one of the reasons I hired on Keskin. He's a 15 ability, 14 potential. I have that backwards. And we'll fix that here. But he also has a high adaptability, which means I can send him to a country that he is not all that familiar with, and he will become familiar with it quicker. So, A Keskin. We'll go TU for Turkey, like that. 14 potential, 15 ability. Yeah. So, and then that way, when it comes time to do your scout reports and stuff like that, you go back to let's say, you're like 1860 Munich, you want to see who's on there. Well, you go get team report, and it also has it right here too. So that way you don't have to remember everything about the scouts, which for someone like me is quite handy. So it is the end of the season. We did finish in first place. Let me click off here on 87 points. Lucas Spalvas, 38 goals, a 7.34 rating. Marlon Ritter, 17 assists. Spalvas, 8 Players of the Match awards. Our 103 goals scored were best in the league. Our 38 matches played. Our 44 goals allowed were 5th best in the league. Our 64 yellow cards were 2nd worst in the league. But we had more points than yellow cards. So if we go to the players and sort them out, and we sort by goals, Spalvas leads us with 38. Now, let me do this here real quick. Spalvas leads us with 38 goals in 37 appearances, 8 assists, 8 players of the match. Marvin Puri, 22 goals, 5 assists, 3 players of the match in 27 games, and 1 off the bench. That in and of itself is a great season. If Spalvas wasn't here, that would have been a great season. Buck Heister was on the under-23s. So you know what? Let's filter this out real quick. Lucas Roser, 14 goals, 7 assists, 3 players of the match in 15 games, 9 off the bench. Marlon Ritter, a great season. In 33 games, he had 11 goals, 17 assists, 4 players of the match. Kenny Prince Redondo, a solid season, 26 games played, 9 goals, 7 assists. Honest Bachat, that was on the B squad. Sivsy, 3 goals, 10 assists, 1 player of the match in 34 starts. You know, if we go by starts, maybe that's an easier way to sort this out. Leading in, maybe not. Krause had a solid season, 1 goal, 1 player of the match, but his defensive work was top-notch. Where's Spahik? Spahik had a really good season. 30. And if we look at him from a goalkeeper point of view, 31 appearances, 33 goals allowed, 12 shutouts, a 6.86 rating. Plus, he was solid in the Pokal. We did really well this season. We had some really good performances. Part of me says if Spalvas had indeed been injured, we may have been up a creek, but I would expect Puri and Roser to step up. Puri is on loan. I don't think he's going to be back next season. Chances are we are going to hit the loan market pretty hard. Once the season officially ends here, one of the other things I am going to do is go through and probably... Oh, this is cool. I thought they would have done Kenny Prince Redondo, but maybe not. Superb season. I would agree with that. Moments to remember. The biggest win, 9-2 against Erdogan. Match to remember, the 3-0 against Dresden, which was very good. The goal of the season, Sickinger from 22 yards. I guess we're going to have to click that. Can we click that? Okay, that is mildly annoying. You got to click through all of that again. So we're going to have to click here. And then click here. But the nice thing is with the optimization now, this goes by a lot faster. Yep, Sivsy, Scarlatitis, Roser, and Sickinger was right there and just blasted through. That was the last. We saw that not too long ago, actually. Finances, not too bad. 4.33 million in sponsorship, broadcast revenue 505,000, corporate and hospitality 633,000, competition prize money 526,000. Almost all of that was from the Pokal. Match day commercial retail 1.18, merchandise sales 1.56. Spalvas led us in the jerseys sold, which totally makes sense, I should say. Rotated the team a fair amount. However, key players, this was pretty much the starting 11. Sickinger got rotated out quite a bit. Some of the guys in the back line got rotated out quite a bit, but this definitely was our best 11. I would like to try and keep a 2-striker formation. If I can bring in a couple of midfielders, I will do that. Player of the season, Lucas Spalvas for sure. Young player of the season, Dominic Shad. Goal of the season, Sickinger. If I click on this here, is that going to do it? Nope. Lucas Spalvas, 38 goals. Marlon Ritter, 17 assists. 8 players of match award for Spalvas. High drivers rating, 7.36857. Wow, they're going out to 5 decimals now. Spalvas set a bunch of records, 38 goals in a season, 5 goals in a game. Ritter set the record for most assists. Spalvas set the record, 8 players of the match. And, we won the third Liga. Okay, this is cool. I like this. This is very cool. Defensive efficiency, we were not that bad. Attacking efficiency, we were aggressive and clinical, which we liked. Our expected goals was 74.8. We got 103. Our expected points was 76.8. We got 87. We were first in expected points per position. This is really cool. Oh, you can have a lot of fun with this. I am geeking out over this. I'm keeping it inside, but I am geeking out over this. I will accept the current end of season team meeting. You've all done superbly to achieve promotion this season, but you must understand I'll have to strengthen the squad if we were to avoid getting involved in the relegation battle next season. I'm going to go with this. I totally screwed that up somehow, but I'm not quite sure how. We'll leave the meeting there. New season team report. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Injury report. Huth was out the longest with a damaged spine. Into season break. Come back for training Monday, June 14th. And that's the post-match analysis for that. So we got less than 5 weeks. I do have some new contracts to discuss with players. So as an example, this is Onnesbrook, who I scouted. I don't have their abilities, but I can't sort them out this way. Like as an example, then if I sort by age, I look and I see, Ludovic Reese, he's fairly solid across the board, played 34 games, had 7 assists, and he was on loan. They don't want to sell him, but he's a defensive midfielder. We'll scout him and we'll get him on the short list. And it's possible maybe we could bring him in on loan. Who else are we looking at? This takes a little bit of time. We'll just have to go through and keep looking. Wow, they're an older squad. Is there anybody on their U19s that kind of grades out anywhere near decent? Stasiak. He's a bit low on the concentration side. But you know what? We'll scout him too. So, and it's the same with all the other squads. Here's Eintracht Braunschweig. We'll take the filter off here. It is off. And sort by age from youngest to oldest. And then Suleiman Abdali was a lone player. Was pretty decent. Who's he play for? Doesn't want to sell. On loan from Union Berlin. He's not bad. We've already scouted him, so I think we'll just add him to the short list for 3 months. See if he comes back on loan. You put him on the short list. If he's offered out for loan again, maybe we could get him in. Okay, it'll sort that way, but not the other way. So, but like you look at this kid here, Njegos Kupasevic, 20 years old. He's low on concentration. He's low on work rate. But at the same time, you don't know how low. But I've graded him. I've scouted him before. He's a 57. So we do kind of know how low. Yeah, this is going to take a while, but luckily I have the time to do it this time around. Plus, we can also take a look at the, I got the other scouting reports from the teams coming in from the Bundesliga. It also pays to do this in the other big leagues as well. Your League 2 in France, Serie B, Serie A. If you have a decent enough scouting department, which I don't right now, but sometimes you can find some nice players who will come to you for a decent amount of money. As an example, say I was looking to upgrade from Spavik. Felix Dornbusch is here. Had a solid season at Piers. He's worth 18,500 euros. You can get him for 100, 150 maybe. Maybe not. Maybe a little more. Maybe a little less. But there's always gems. There's always hidden gems. And then, you pull up like the under 19s and the second squad as well. And, maybe if you search by goals, or something like that. I tend to look at attributes more than anything else. So, you have a player like this, Yari Otto, 21 years old, didn't get a lot of starts. He's solid in some areas, but not others. If we bring him up here on winger, see his agility's low, his pace is kind of low, his dribbling and crossing are definitely low. But you do things like that, and it gives you, maybe some insights on scouting. But I like scouting. Scouting is one of the things I actually really enjoy in this game. So I've been a little bit lucky in some areas and a lot unlucky in other areas, but I do like the scouting part of this game. So that said, this was a solid season for us. I was expecting us to compete. I wasn't expecting us to blow away the competition. Lucas Spalvis came out of nowhere and just absolutely put the team on his shoulders and carried us to the second Bundesliga. There's no questions about that, hands down. He was a big reason why. If you look at our schedule, we were just dominating teams. We had a ton of shutouts. I know Spike's close to setting the record for shutouts for the team. He had like 13 this season. But 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 4-0. Then we had games like 5-4 where we came back to beat Unterhaching. 3-0, 2-0, 2-0. And even when we were winning, it was like 3-1. We had a couple close games, but then we had like the blowout against Erdigan, the 9-2, and the comeback against Köln, 6-4. So I don't expect us to be doing that in the second Bundesliga. I next year, there's some good teams here. There really is. Hamburg's a good team. FC St. Pauli's a good team. I don't know all of these teams, but I'm reasonably sure. Karlsruhe's not bad. Who's coming down, too? Who do we know that's coming down? Union Berlin. Well, VfB Stuttgart, they're going to be a big squad. Arminia Bielefeld is decent. It's going to be tough. I suspect if we finish better than mid-table next year, I will be really, really surprised. I suspect 12th is probably going to be our best shot. It looks like they only play 34 games or 33 games. So we need 33 points. And that's going to be the goal. So that's what we're aiming for. So a solid season. I'd be interested in your all's feedback on that. What you think I should do in the off season? I'm actually going to head to that right now, and it'd be interesting to get people's feedback on what they do and how they do things. There's a lot of videos out there right now, a lot of people talking about how they do things, and the nice thing is, none of them are wrong. There's one of the things I love about this game is that there's a lot of ways to do things. So, with that said, we are going to call this an episode here. If you did like what you've seen and heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. And we will be back next episode with a roundup of what happened in the summer transfer window and some of the other things I did to try and improve the team. My name is FM21. I thank you for watching.